Well, good morning, good morning. Good morning from Massachusetts here on the East Coast of the USA. I hope you're doing well and feeling well. I hope all is going well at the start of this new month in June. I'm going to take a quick look over on my laptop to make sure that we're good to go. I see Julia and Fernanda here, my early birds. You can give me a thumbs up or just say, yes, we can hear you, we can see you. Let me take a look. Yes, looking good. Thank you for joining me. I guess it's afternoon for one of you, perhaps evening for another. So if you're watching the recording, hello to you and thank you for taking time out of your day to catch up with me. Our theme today was chosen with the help of some YouTube channel members, and there's actually a tie. So we'll focus on weird uses of verb tenses, but it was also in the poll that I created, people also showed interest in descriptive vocabulary. So we're going to focus mainly on the verb tenses first, and then we'll get to a challenge where you'll have some practice with vocabulary too. Okay? Yes, thank you, Julia, for confirming. I see, is it Gevorgyan? Good morning to you, and thank you for the sunshine. I hope you had a sunny day as well, or are enjoying a sunny day. Messy R8H, hello to you. How has June been going for you? Can you tell me something good about June? I'm happy that it looks like this summer we're not going to have a drought. I hope not. Do you remember that word? When there's not enough water and there's not enough rain, you can have a drought. The opposite, of course, would be, do you know? Flooding. But we had so much rain that the marsh near my home is full now, which is good for all of the creatures that live there, like turtles and frogs and beavers. So it's good that there's enough water. Any more, there probably would have been flooding. But in past summers, we've actually had so little rain that there was a drought. And I felt so bad for the animals that depend on the water. So right now it's beautiful. There's a lot of water. The sun is shining. It is hot, but because of all the rain, everything looks like it's going to be fine this summer. So yes, we don't want a drought. We don't want flooding. It's just right. So I hope things are just right where you live too. Mohit Sharma 2.9, I'm fine. I hope you're well too. Surprise is surprising me with more questions. With roller coasters, it's been a while. Oh, I heard that there was some heat over in Europe. We call that sometimes a heat wave. There's another good vocabulary word for the weather when there's a period of intense heat, but you know it's not going to last too long. That can be called a heat wave. So heat waves are not easy to deal with, right? Especially when you reach those high temperatures. What's another word for really, really high? Really, really high. Very, very high. We talk about, here's another good word for vocabulary and for weather, extreme heat, right? So there's sometimes extreme heat or it's extremely hot. Whoopsies. Extremely hot. Did I write? Gosh, got to check my typing before I hit send. So extreme heat, extremely hot. You had a heat wave in Spain, in May. Well, I hope it's nicer now, Fernanda. Peter, if you're asking where I'm based, where I am, I'm in the US. I'm on the East Coast, and I live outside of Boston in Massachusetts. We call this region New England. I grew up in a different region, Mid-Atlantic, but now I'm in New England. Oh, good word. I like that, Julia. Scorching hot. All right, my goodness, we're only 5 minutes in, and you got drought, flooding, extremely hot, heat wave, scorching hot from Julia. If you have a notebook, start taking some notes, practice, right? You want to pick up the vocabulary that's new, or you know it, but you know you don't really use it and you want to make it active. Take the notes, right? And review your notes after this live stream, okay? Kim Jong-un, that's an interesting username. 8090, I'm happy to have you here. Saddam, hello. There is an amusement park surprise in New England. Canopy Lake is very popular. You can check it out, Canopy Lake. It's in New Hampshire, and I've gone there in the past with my children. But it's been some time since we're there. All right, fingers crossed, I'm going to share my screen. As you know, sometimes there have been technical glitches, but I've been doing tech checks faithfully to make sure that our tech cooperates for this live stream. 37 degrees, Fernanda, that is hot, hot, hot if you're talking Celsius, right? I go by Fahrenheit, but I remember over 30 is not pleasant. All right, working my magic. Hopefully you can still hear me. And I'll let the live stream catch up. There's a little lag. Do you know that word? I'll type that one in. Okay, I have the chat open there. Looks like you can still hear me and see me, that I'm sharing my screen. In the past, sometimes audio would disappear and I'd have to work to get it back, but it looks like we're in good shape. Okay. Another word I just used is that although this is technically live, we don't know for sure who's a few seconds behind, who might be 30 seconds behind, who might be a full minute behind. Okay. Okay. It's really lagging. I'm trying to see on my laptop what you see, and it hasn't caught up to me yet. Ma Hippo is here. Hello. Thank you for your patience. I'm just double checking that we still have audio and sound. Thank you for confirming, Peter. Okay. Whew. It's funny if I start talking for a full minute or two and then everyone's in the chat, Jennifer, we can't hear you. So I'm trying to avoid that. I don't want you to miss anything good. Saddam Mohammed, thank you for the beautiful compliment. Okay, so the plan is, let's get started. We're focusing on verb tenses and aspect. You don't have to know tons of grammar terminology, but some is helpful. I want you to have awareness of how our language works, right? And the structures we need to communicate. We're going to look at weird uses of the present tense, weird uses of will for the future, possibly the future. And then I have a reading challenge that pulls everything together, grammar and vocabulary, and I'll share some ways to gain more practice. So this is a subscriber chat. If you haven't subscribed, you need to subscribe so that you can participate in the chat. I like seeing what you're all typing. Yes. Okay. And if I miss questions, let's wait to the end. I'll try to have some Q&A at that time, whether it's related to our topic or not. Just a reminder, my members are going to get a follow-up task. Okay. So stay tuned and get your practice, the extra practice at the end of this live stream on the community tab. So let's talk about verb tenses for a moment. I know it's so easy to talk about the verb tenses, all the verb tenses, but if we want to get technical, there are only two tenses, only two. Technically, where there's only present tense and past tense. I'm okay with using tenses to talk about all the different forms because it's easier. Sometimes it's very convenient, but technically in English, there are two tenses, present and past. That's it. So the first thing that we're going to do is recognize, are we using the present? Are we using the past? 8 sentences. You can start putting in the chat what is present, what is past, okay? Based on the truth. 1, Prague is a beautiful city. Present or past? Just say 1 and type for me, okay? 2, I enjoyed my visit in April. It's true. I visited Prague in April, and I saw one of my former private students. She studied with me for a number of years, and it was so good to meet her in person. Do you know when you give a person a hug? Oh, it's like what you can't do on Zoom. So I enjoyed my visit in April. 3, my son spent a semester abroad from January to May. He's back home now, but he spent a semester abroad from January to May. Yes, present, past. Good, Mahito. 4, he traveled extensively throughout Europe. There's another word. If you're not using that actively, write that down. Great word. He traveled extensively throughout Europe. Does that mean a lot or a little? Extensively. 4, good, is past. And what does extensively mean? Let's help everyone else. If you know the word, help others. What does extensively mean? Great adverb. 5, he is adjusting to life back in an American suburb. He was living in a city, traveling to all cities, and now he's back in the suburbs where life is slower, quieter. He has to get in a car. He hadn't driven a car for several months, and now he's driving again because you have to drive in an American suburb. Is adjusting. 5. Present. Yes, thank you, Fernanda. He has now seen more countries than me. That's true. He has now seen more countries than me. 6, thank you, Julia. Present. He was traveling to a new country almost every week. It's true. Almost. He only studied. He didn't have classes on Fridays, so he would go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes till Monday. Because he mostly had classes on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So he traveled a lot. Extensively, did someone help out with that one? What does extensively mean? I know someone here knows that word, extensively. Okay. And 8, I need to travel more to catch up to him. Thank you. Extensively is a lot. Let's say he visited so many places at once. Yes, in basic, simple, everyday English, he traveled a lot, so many countries. Extensively is a bit more sophisticated, not necessarily academic, but it is slightly more academic. I'd say more appropriate for academic writing or professional writing. You could use it in everyday English, and I'd call it more sophisticated. Extensively. Have you traveled extensively? Have you read extensively about something? Have you studied a subject extensively, meaning a lot, right? Thank you, my hippo. Okay, so now the trick is when you hear someone tell about something, if you want to continue a conversation, you need to come up with some comments and questions. So I just told you about Prague and my son and my visit. What comment could you make? And what question could you ask? We're also putting the verb tenses into use here. I had a mix of present and past. So I'm telling you, he went there from January to May. I visited in April. He traveled extensively. What could you say other than, oh, interesting? The conversation ends. You have to develop that ability to come up with a comment to show that you're interested, and then come up with a question to get more details, right? If you want to have conversation with others, you need to come up with good comments and good questions to continue the conversation. What would you ask? I think Prague, by the way, is so beautiful. I would go back. I enjoyed it. I was there for less than a week, but it was so beautiful. And I did learn a little bit of Czech before I went, and I practiced. You didn't really need it because in customer service, like hotels, restaurants, cafes, they all speak English. I really didn't need Any Czech. I spoke English, I did speak Russian, and I spoke a little bit of Spanish. Oh, good. Where did you go? I mainly stayed in Prague. When I met with my former student, she took us a little bit outside the city center to see some special places. So that was nice to go with someone who knows the city and knows the country. It's nice to have someone show you around. That's a good phrase, right? It's nice to have a local person show you around because they know how to get around. And I hadn't taken the metro until we met. I figured out the trolley with my son's help, but she introduced me to the subway, the metro. Back and forth. If he went to the same city or country, which he did visit Germany twice, but if he was going every weekend, we'd say he was traveling back and forth. But he did travel back and forth from Prague. Prague was his base, and then he traveled to a number of countries in Europe, right? What places did I stayed in Prague, but he went everywhere. He went to the Olympics because he's a hockey fan. So he went to Milan to see the Americans play and the Canadians play too. And then he went back to Venice, right? And then Spain, and he went to London. He went to, goodness, where else? Germany, Poland. He even found a group who wanted to travel to Morocco, so he took a trip to Morocco too. Crazy. And let me tell you, it was on a budget. It was on a budget. Have you ever been to Asia? I have. He hasn't. He has been to more countries than me, but he has not been to Asia. I have. Okay. What was the most impressive for you? Oh, what city was the most impressive? So far, I think Prague is just so beautiful, and I love the history. I love the architecture. I enjoyed the food. It's very diverse. I really enjoyed the diversity and the mix of modern and historic sites. Yes, I did. But of course, I also very much want to go back to Japan one day. I was there way, way, way back, 1991 maybe. I want to go back. Vocabulary related to the general chat. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Learn from each other. Okay, good. So now that we know there's really just present and past, some of you were already jumping ahead, and I know that you know aspect. That's what we're getting into. So technically speaking, there are only two tenses in English, present and past. Why we have all those different forms is because we have something called aspect. Okay, there are four aspects in English: simple, progressive, perfect, and perfect progressive. I do have a whole playlist on verb tenses, and I go through all of them. You can also check out my grammar playlist, and there are plenty of long and short lessons on verb tenses. Sometimes I look at just one or two at a time. You'll hear different terminologies, so don't get confused. Present simple, simple present, same thing. Present progressive, present continuous, same thing. Present perfect progressive, or continuous. So basically continuous and progressive, same thing. It's that ing form. We can say past simple, simple past progressive, or continuous, past perfect progressive, or continuous. Okay, that's where all the forms come from. If it's more convenient to say, oh, there are all these different tenses, okay. But technically, I want you to know we really only have present and past. Then we start changing forms to get more detailed, to get more nuanced, right? More specific. And that's why we have aspects. I also encourage you to take the recent tests, B1, B2, to see what exactly you need to review. Okay? I have not been to Brazil. I would like to go to Brazil. I have not been to Brazil, present perfect, but I want to. I want to visit Brazil. Okay, so now let's take travel, the verb travel, and let's see how quickly you can remember the different forms. At this point, those of you listening to me, I know that you are not beginners. I know that you are intermediate or advanced. So you need to get to the point where you're very comfortable finding the aspect that you need, the different forms that you need to express what you want. If I'm talking about a fact, I'm going to use the simple present. He travels a lot. If it's happening right now, what is the present progressive form? Let's type that quickly. So here I want present progressive. Here I want the perfect. He has, you're traveling right now. He traveled extensively. And the fact is, he also wants to go back one day. So this is a great use of the present perfect to suggest it happened. It's part of your general past experience, and it might take place again. You would like for it to happen again, especially if it's a positive experience. Very good. Yes, Peter, thank you. He is traveling now. I'm using the American spelling. If you use the British, that's perfectly fine, whether you use one L or two. 3. Has traveled, thank you. Saddam Mohammed has traveled extensively. Let's make the present perfect progressive. Change this to an ing form, right? Let's say it's started and it's continuing up till now. He is home right now, but let's imagine he started in January and it's still ongoing. What would that look like? Very good. I see the form. If others are looking like, ooh, I can't go that fast, it's okay. Watch the forms and make sure they're familiar to you. If you're thinking, I don't use that, you need to review the present perfect progressive. He, a little. Okay, my son is now 21 years old. Oh my gosh, 21. He is not a child. He's a young man. Tell me about the past. He. Oh, and you, Peter, you actually used extensively. Good job. And when you get into the simple past or the past simple, remember, we have regular and irregular verbs. Even if you're an advanced student, it's good to review those irregular verbs because you need to remember those forms, right? It's in your mind and it's like, oh, wait, is it, which one is it? Some of them are easy, like eat, ate, eaten, right? But there are other ones you're like, wait, do we say swing, swang, swung? Even lots of people mix them up. I might sometimes have to check a dictionary and say, do we say swang or swung? You look it up. If it's conversation, just go with what you remember. People will understand in context. But when you're writing, you do have the time to look things up and make sure you're writing things correctly because you want to be clear. Traveled, very good. You can do 1 or 2 L's, your choice. I'm using 1. Okay. What about ing? And I could use the past progressive for this to say that it was a period and it was ongoing for a while. Right. I could get away with the simple, but I'm just trying to create an example for us to show you we could use the past progressive. Or I could say he was traveling at that time. Like, why was he not home in March? Oh, because what was he doing? Yes, thank you. He was traveling at that time. Okay. Past perfect, past perfect. So before 2026, he traveled, but not as much as in this year. So what had happened? What had been done? What was the truth before? Remember, we don't use the past perfect all that much in English, but sometimes we need to emphasize and clarify that one past event happened before another, and that's when the past perfect is useful. Very good. Yep. I see you're going ahead. Fernanda, Peter, Muhammad, all of you. He had traveled a little before, but not as much as in this year, 2026. And if we make that progressive, very good. He had traveled. To make your example even clearer and more natural, my hippo, I'd say he had traveled a lot by the time I got there. By the time works really well instead of when. By the time works because you really want to emphasize a period before, right? He had been traveling extensively. Okay. All right. So good job. You remember then not only the tenses, but you remember the aspects. Super job. Phidias Barbosa. See you type in the right answers there as well. Great job. So you're thinking, Jennifer, wait, you're saying there are two tenses, present and past. What about the future? It's okay. It's understood when people say, let's talk about the future tense. Technically, there isn't a future tense, but it's okay. For clarity and convenience, we say future tense. But technically, we don't have one. We use will. We use modal verbs because will is a modal verb. We use modal verbs like can and should for the future. Like I should exercise more this month, right? Meaning in the weeks to come. I can relax over the weekend, this coming weekend. Be going to and present forms. And this is where it gets weird, where we use present not for the present, or we use future forms not for the future. And by the way, it's also a little odd when we can say things like, he's traveled a lot because I want to leave the door open to the future, right? The present perfect not only often connects past to present, like he has traveled a lot and that's part of his past experience, but I could also say, oh, he's been to many countries. And that also could suggest that he will travel more in the future and add to the list of countries. So the present perfect is really interesting in that it connects to the past. It could also connect to the future. Okay. Yes, we will be more descriptive when we get into vocabulary at the end. Surprise, surprise. All right. So present for the future? Yes. Okay. So here are my examples. I will read and you will tell me one, future or one, present. You need to tell me which verbs refer to the future and which ones refer to the present. Okay, let me take a sip of tea. What would I do without my tea? All right. 1, I'm taking a short trip in July. Present or future? 2, I leave on a Thursday and return on a Saturday. Present or future? 3, I'm flying on 2 different airlines. Present or future? The first flight departs around 10 a.m. Present or future? My return flight arrives in Boston in the late afternoon. Present or future? 6, I'm looking forward to seeing family and close friends in Pennsylvania. 7, when I travel in July, I'll be less active on social media. Note we have 2 verbs here, so tell me about travel and will be. 8, if you post a comment while I'm traveling in July, please be patient with my response. We have post, traveling. Don't worry about the imperative. Okay, the good news is I'm seeing you guys type future a lot, and that is correct. Okay, so watch this. I'll put future. I'm taking. It is June right now. Maybe some of you will be watching this recording in July or in future months, but right now it is June. This is a plan in the future, right? Fairly immediate, not too far off, not the distant future. Present progressive is used for future plans. It's already decided. I leave on a Thursday and return on a Sunday. This is a schedule, a future schedule. And it's not just me deciding it. Because I'm taking a plane, I'm flying, the plane operates on a schedule. That's why down here, departs, that's part of the schedule that the 100 or 200 some people on the plane are all following. Airports operate on a schedule. So future departures and arrivals, they operate, and that is something predictable, and we use the simple present. I know that my flight is going to depart at 10 a.m. unless there's a delay, right? I'm flying on 2 different airlines. This is like number 1. It's my plan, right? I tried to find the cheapest airfare because it's expensive. So I didn't care if I was using 2 different companies. I just wanted the cheapest way, but I also didn't want to wake up at like 5 or 6 in the morning. So that's why I'm flying. Means that is my future plan. All of these so far, future. All of them are because it's a plan or it's a scheduled activity, especially for transportation, public transportation, or the kind of transportation for large groups of people, buses, planes, metros, subways, trolleys. Even if it's tonight or tomorrow, we use the present. Okay. Fixed schedule. Very good. Saddam Muhammad, you got another nuance there. My return flight arrives, there it is again, in the late afternoon, same as number 4. I'm looking forward to, there's a phrasal verb. I'm looking forward to. Present progressive, but it's the present, right? Because right now, how am I feeling? Excited. I want to go. I want to see. And so the feeling of anticipation and excitement is with me right now. That's present. When I travel in July, we're getting back to future. I'll be less active. Definitely future. Why? Who remembers this rule? It's going to be the same down here. If I'm talking about July, why am I not using will or be going to? Kandakar, I think you're asking about gerunds and participles. It's in my grammar playlist. Perhaps in a future live stream, we can dive into gerunds and participles and study them more extensively. So if I have some time at the end, I can talk a little bit about gerunds, but this is important right here. I've seen people make mistakes and say, I look forward to see, but remember it's seeing. Why? Because look forward to what? I look forward to my trip. I look forward to that time. So a noun can be an object or anything like a noun. And gerunds are those ing forms that behave like nouns. So that's why I have to say seeing. Okay. You're right down here about conditionals, but down here, it's just a future time clause. Okay. When I'm using words like before, after, when, as soon as, to create this future time clause, I cannot use a future form. I have to use the present. This is not the main clause. That's a time clause. The main part of my sentence is this: I'll be less active on social media. And you say, when? This adverb clause of time explains when. And because I'm using subject and verb, the verb must be in the present tense. We can only have one form using will. I cannot say when I will be or when I'm going to be. I use when I travel in July, I'll be less active. That's a common mistake. In your future time clauses, use the present. Same thing here. So this is future. And if you post a comment while I'm traveling in July. All of this is the future because we're still together here in June. This is my future plan. And this is because it's a time, not a time clause, but it's a future clause. It's also a conditional. So it's not just future time clauses, it's clauses that refer to the future, right? These are adverb clauses. They're dependent clauses. They are not the main parts of the sentence. The main part is this. I'm telling you to do something, imperative. Please be patient. When? While I'm traveling. And I'm giving a condition. You don't have to be patient all the time, but when you post a comment, if you post a comment, please be patient. And notice I could use when if I think it's certain you're going to do that. An outcome expected to happen in the future. Very good. Yes, there's that expectation. Yes, first conditional, right? If you do this, like if you post, I will need some time to respond, right? It's a real and likely conditional in the future. Okay, super. So remember, there are times when the present tense helps us talk about the future. It could be a plan. It could be a schedule. These are schedules. And then if we have adverb clauses with when or if, we must also use the present tense. Okay, so it's a little weird that the present tense can help us refer to the future, but that's the pattern. Those are the structures, and that's how we understand one another, talking about plans and schedules and such. Okay, your turn, 9 and 10. How would you finish these sentences? Look, this is the present, but I'm referring to the future. If all goes well, I'll sometime later this year. This weekend, your plan, tell me. I'm going to do something. You could do going to, or you could use just the present progressive. Can you give me your examples? If all goes well, I'll what? I'll give more webinars. I like giving those webinars. I like working with other teachers too. If all goes well, I'll give additional webinars sometime later this year. Is this live? It is live. Hello, hello. It's 9:37 a.m. for me in Massachusetts. I don't know what time it is for you. I'll travel around the world. I hope that comes true for you, Julia. That would be amazing. Oh, I heard about those trips where you go all around the whole globe. That would be amazing. Oh, that's wonderful to hear. You used to watch the videos way back when. Look at you now. It's 2026 and you're using your English in a professional setting. I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. And just remember, we're all learning. We can always constantly expand and elevate. Watch my recent video. If you're C1, C2, there's always something more we can do. I'm learning new words all the time. I like to read, especially the news articles. And there's words that I'm like, never heard that before. And I have to look it up. Sometimes I'm reading about real estate. I like to look at these fancy homes and there's descriptions about these luxurious features. And I'm like, what's that? They'll describe the materials used or a certain feature. And I have to look it up to understand what exactly that is. All right. If all goes well, I'll study with you as much as I can. Oh, for the rest of the year. A thrilling novel. This week I'm reading a novel, or I'm going to finish my novel. You could say I'm spending time under a tree with my favorite book or something like that. I'm glad you learned from India. All right. If all goes well, I'll give more webinars this year. That's what I already gave 2. I'd like to give more. This weekend, I'm working. I have a lesson tonight. I have a lesson on Sunday, and I have some more videos to work on. But I do find time to relax. This weekend, I'm balancing work and study and spending time with my kids. who are not kids anymore, right? Okay, now let's get into some weird uses of will. Will is a future form. Again, technically, we don't have a future tense. We have different verbs that allow us to talk about the future. Will is the most common, right? We usually use will for the future. Like, I will always support you. I will always be here for you, making promises, right? But we can use will for the present. A little weird, but it's possible and common. Same thing, I have 5 sentences. You tell me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, am I referring to the present or the future? Listen, 1, I'll usually use an overnight bag if I'm traveling for 2 or 3 days. Is this statement about the present or future? I'll usually use an overnight bag if I'm traveling for 2 or 3 days. Oh, English Fernanda's going to buy a car. 2, sometimes my screen will go dark for a second and I panic. I don't know what is up with my computer. It's not that old, but sometimes the screen goes whew. I hope it doesn't do that now, but it happens. I'm like, oh no, what's wrong? 3, I won't be buying a new computer anytime soon. 4, I'll take good care of my car too, because I don't plan to replace it for a while. 5, sometimes certain features won't work, but it still drives well. I have to explain. I'm talking about 2 things here, computers and cars. Okay, you guys are saying present. Hello, good student. It's calling me a good teacher. I'll call you a good student because you're here and you're studying English on a Friday. Present, present. Yes. Okay, so present. And let's get a nice color here. Let's go to, I'll usually use. Weird use number 1. Weird. This is your clue right there, usually. American English speakers, I'm not going to say about others, but I still think it's a fairly common pattern, but I'll tell you at least for in American English, we can use will. We can use will for what? What am I talking about? A habit, habits, tendencies, right? What do you do? Oh, I'll usually use an overnight bag if I'm traveling, but you know, if it's a bigger trip, I'll use a bigger suitcase. Okay, so yes, we can use it, especially in this type of conditional. I know that we just learned conditionals for real and likely outcomes in the future, but we tend to use will for habits and tendencies as well. And we're talking about the present tense. Weird. Wonderful to have someone watching from Cambodia. Okay. Sometimes my screen will go dark. What did you guys say? Present. Yes, will go dark. And are you seeing a pattern here? Look at these adverbs. What kind of adverbs am I using? Adverbs of frequency. Usually, sometimes, often, right? Never. You can say, oh, I'll never do that. I'll never. He'll never. When you ask him, he'll never. It's more so. I'm thinking more in the affirmative, right? Usually, sometimes. So this is not. People have habits. Machines can have tendencies. So sometimes this happens with my computer. My screen will go dark and I panic. Okay. This is what happens. This is my usual reaction. Okay. I won't be buying a new computer anytime soon. Very good, Julia and the others, you got it right. That's future. Okay. I'll take good care of my car too because I don't plan to replace it for a while. What are you guys saying? Good job. Future. I'll take. That is the future, right? This is my plan. This is my promise, however you choose to see it, right? And then this is what's in my mind right now, but this is my future promise, right? Sometimes, here we go. There's your clue right there. 5. What did you guys say? Yes. Present. Good job. Won't work. Okay. Okay, so habits, tendencies, this could be seen as a tendency, but it could be like lack of cooperation, like the computer's not cooperating with me. Some people explain it as like unwillingness. If it's a person, stubbornness. Did I spell that correctly? Stubbornness. You could talk about people doing this. He won't agree. He won't agree. Like somebody who's always arguing, he won't agree. Even if you show him the facts, he won't agree with you. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. He won't agree. He always needs to be right. If you know someone like that, you could use will, and we're using the negative to show unwillingness, stubbornness. Or my car, certain features won't work. I'm pressing the button. I'm like, the button's not giving me what I want, even though I'm pressing it, it won't work. It's not cooperating. It's unwilling. So the negative is tied to that lack of cooperation or stubbornness. Okay. And then will for the present. That's mainly will. Yeah. Any questions there? Don't plan. There's the 2 ones I wanted to play. We don't really need the 3rd category. Let's delete that. Delete. Okay. So your turn, 6 and 7. Okay. I know a very stubborn person. She won't or he won't unless, like, he won't agree unless you give 5 or 10 reasons. And we're not making a prediction here. You're describing their habits, their tendencies. You know their behavior very well. So I know a very stubborn person, and she won't agree to something unless you give her 5 good reasons, or unless what? Unless everyone is going to go. Like if you invite her on a outing, she won't go unless everyone goes. I don't know. So think about, you can make up the example. If you don't know any stubborn people, then you can imagine a stubborn person. Maybe you read about one or saw one in a movie. I'm a creature of habit. For example, sometimes I might but I'll usually What we're using are modal verbs, right? Might and will, but we're talking about our habits and tendencies. I'm a creature of habit. For example, sometimes I might fall asleep on my back, but I'll usually sleep on my side. How about you? Julia, what are you saying? Perhaps Fernanda. So that's why I'm not going to speak broadly about what is common in English. I'll speak about American English. And you'll hear this. I'm sure if you watch movies or TV shows, you'll catch that. Or if you're reading a novel and there's dialogue and you see will, and you're like, wait a second, why did they use will? Now you know it's a habit, it's a tendency, or maybe it's stubbornness, right? Okay, she won't back down unless you give her a constructive reason. Good. Okay. If you're watching the recording, feel free to put your examples in the comments. Okay, and members will be getting some more practice after the live stream. If you're not a member, just click join and you'll check out the perks. I'm debating, I think I might create another poll because I do these short 1-question quizzes, but not many of you have been doing it lately. So I'm thinking about replacing that with something. But the main perk, I would say, is getting follow-up tasks after this live stream. And then, of course, there's also this archive of older recordings that are not public. So if you join as a member, those are your 2 big ones. Okay? Thank you if you're a member. I see some of you here right now. I appreciate the love from India. Thank you very much. Sending it right back to you. Okay. All right. Reading challenge, because some of you wanted vocabulary, and at least one of you is saying, Jennifer, I want descriptive vocabulary. This reading text has some weird uses of the present and future, the weird ones that we've been talking about. And I also have some basic vocabulary. I'm going to show you some more sophisticated words in a moment, but as I read, if you want to suggest alternatives to interesting, educational, good, beautiful, lasting, go ahead and suggest them. Okay. I'm also going to comment on the pronunciation of one city. In English, this has, or at least American English again, there are two pronunciations. I mostly say Budapest, but I was watching a documentary with my son not too long ago, and the host of the show was saying Budapest. I'm like, oh, right, I've heard that. So it is recognized in American English dictionaries that we can say Budapest or Budapest. I don't think I have anyone watching from Hungary right now. I'm so happy that you're here, my new viewer from Cambodia. I might couch the potato, but I'll be actively learning English on a daily basis. I'm glad. Okay, listen up. Here we go. Traveling on a budget can still be an interesting and educational experience. Many travelers stay at hostels because they're affordable and often attract a good mix of guests from different countries. So much depends on the individual. Some people will spend hours talking with strangers and learning about different customs, while others won't try unfamiliar foods or customs no matter how much their friends encourage them. As for me, I'm ready for my next adventure, Budapest. My train leaves at 8:15 tomorrow morning, and I'm staying at a hostel near the city center for 3 nights. When I arrive at my destination, I plan to explore the local markets and admire the beautiful neighborhoods before checking in. Even with limited funds, travel can offer lasting memories and a deeper understanding of other cultures. Hello, hello. I see someone just joined us a little late, but you're welcome here. Poonam, I see your question about prepositions. We'll get to that maybe towards the end. Okay. Let's focus our attention here. Hopefully the text is clear to you in general. Did you come up with any words, alternatives, interesting, educational, beautiful, lasting? So let me show you some possibilities. I'm going to see if I can, I have to scroll like this to get them in. I'm sorry, those of you on the phone, the text is going to be quite small, but I want you to see your options, okay? Actually, I wonder if I can put this in here. Let me do this. Boop, 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 boop. Does that help? Can you see did that work? Oh, wait, no, wait here. Not gonna work. 1 second. Okay. I'm trying to put words in the chat for you. Okay. Whew. Okay. So the words in the chat: unforgettable, picturesque, transformative, enriching, cosmopolitan. Look in the chat and you'll see them. Now I can go back to a bigger screen, okay? Because I know some of you are on your phones. I'll try to go as big as I can. Okay, do you see? What we're trying to do is move away from A1, B1. There is a better word that is B1, unforgettable. And these words, some of my advanced students, you might already use them actively. Good job. But I'm sure they're passive for many of you. Your goal is to make them active, right? You want to be able to use them confidently. You want them to be part of your vocabulary that you can easily and confidently use when you read and speak, okay? Or when you write and speak, okay? Oh, lifelong. Good, good, good. Manuel, I see you. Okay. So my question is, which words can be used here? Traveling on a budget can still be an interesting and educational experience. Which of the words that I posted in the chat can be used in this first sentence? An interesting and educational experience. What fits here? Interesting and educational. Two words, it really doesn't matter if you switch them around or not. Think about when it's educational, it teaches you something and you change for the better because you have knowledge now, right? And interesting also is like, ugh, it fills you with more meaning, right? So which words could go there? I didn't go to Budapest, Manuel. My son did, though. Okay. Do you see which two words fit here from this list? Right? I put them in the chat there. And if it's harder, like I'm still not sure, well, then start with something easy. Beautiful. What's another word for beautiful? I put it in the chat. Do you see it? Oh, I like didactic. Didactic might be more like a lecture or an essay. Watch this. Beautiful. Try this one. Picturesque. Okay. Whew. Now we're going up there because picturesque is B2. Beautiful is like A1 vocabulary, right? Picturesque, definitely more elevated. Lasting memories, I think, Julia, you're the one who suggested lifelong memories. Yep, like lifelong friendships, lifelong lessons. I'm not sure if memories are lifelong. Memories can last a lifetime. Lasting memories. If they're lasting, look at this alternative. Lasting is a good word, by the way. I do like that. I'm just looking for another alternative, is unforgettable. If you have guests from different countries, it's a good mix. Transformative. Okay, now I'm seeing the words. Okay. Transformative is going to go up here, but it needs a partner. If you are talking about people from different countries and it becomes interesting because of their diversity, a good word is cosmopolitan, including people from different countries and cultures. So watch what I would do here. Attract what kind of mix? A cosmopolitan mix. And then we really don't need to say from different countries because cosmopolitan suggests that already. Cosmopolitan, which means the words we're left with are transformative and enriching. Transformative and enriching. So you can argue back and forth, but I would say transformative is more like educational. Whoopsies, let's use the orange so you can see them. Transformative. And then enriching, which is a C1 word, definitely is more sophisticated than interesting. Okay? These are 5 words. If you don't use them, you want to learn them, practice them, right? And create some examples with them. I'll show you the pictures of Budapest again soon. Okay. Okay, so let me read this. We have just a few minutes left. I want you to hear the text now that we've elevated some of the vocabulary. And by the way, what makes this more B2C1 is not just the vocabulary, it's also the grammar and the variety of sentences. We have some short sentences like this. We have some longer complex sentences, right? We have some more advanced use of punctuation. And even sometimes it's a collocation like limited funds. Instead of saying, even with just a little bit of money, limited funds is a great phrase. If you don't know that, write it down. I told you at the beginning of the live stream to take notes. Limited funds is a good phrase to talk about not having a lot of money. Okay? Listen. Traveling on a budget can still be an enriching and transformative experience. Many travelers stay at hostels because they are affordable and often attract a cosmopolitan mix of guests. So much depends on the individual. Some will spend hours talking with strangers and learning about different customs, while others won't try unfamiliar foods or customs no matter how much their friends encourage them. As for me, I'm ready for my next adventure, Budapest. My train leaves at 8:15 tomorrow morning. And I'm going to change this to another contraction there. I'm staying at a hostel near the city center for 3 nights. When I arrive at my destination, I plan to explore the local markets and admire the picturesque neighborhoods before checking in. Even with limited funds, travel can offer unforgettable memories and a deeper understanding of other cultures. And as I was going through, I was making some changes, right? This is a point for some of you to remember who do writing more regularly, which all of you should be doing. When you write, decide what tone you're going for. And one thing that could affect the tone is your use of contractions. You either use them or don't use them. If you use them, it becomes a little bit more friendly and conversational. So I can quickly go through and see, did I miss any other opportunities for contractions? I don't think so. But in any case, you saw me correct one in real time. Okay. A tight budget, yes. If you're on a tight budget. Limited funds on a tight budget. Limited means is another phrase. Thank you. That's very sweet. Hanyong 123. Okay, so what exactly makes Budapest or Budapest picturesque? I found these photos, daytime and nighttime. Look how beautiful. Oh my gosh. I'd love to see Budapest one day. I'll let you add some comments before we say goodbye and also check for final questions. My son saw Budapest. He spent a few days there, a few nights. Oh, it looks so beautiful. He actually said it's like Prague. He was very impressed by Budapest. Eye-catching. Thank you, Fernanda. I love poems too. We'll try, if we do like some sort of maybe pronunciation or vocabulary focus, we can have poems again. I love poems too. My encouragement for all of you, take these words, create your examples. If you can tie it into these photos, these beautiful, eye-catching photos, you're welcome to do that. Okay, so just winding down, we covered then verb tenses and aspects, remembering that technically there's only 2 tenses, present and past. Then we got into the 4 aspects. That's why we have so many forms. There are some weird uses of the present tense and some weird uses of will. Review them, practice them, and we read and we saw the grammar in context. Did you see those weird uses? Like some people will do one thing, like spend hours talking, while others won't try unfamiliar foods, right? That's an example of habits and tendencies. Okay. How will you gain more practice? Well, my members are going to get an extra practice task on the community tab within the next hour or so. But if you really want to talk with me and have your cameras on and not just listen to me, there's a place to do that because I turn on all cameras, all mics on Zoom when I meet with my Patreon members, the lifelong learners in my community. B2 is the best level to join. If you're strong B1, you possibly could. If you're listening to me now and you're doing well and you understand well, you could keep up. Okay, so this month my members voted and the topic is making compromises. We're going to work on expressing concerns and our wishes and then reaching a compromise. We have 2 classes, June 12th and the 26th. Our classes are an hour and 15 minutes on Zoom. There are independent tasks to do before and after to give you practice. I have community hours. We focus on all skills, so if that sounds exciting to you, go to my homepage here on YouTube, okay? And you will see that link to join. Okay, I'll spend one final minute to see if there's any Q&A that I missed. Julia, I'm always happy to see you here, my regulars. Julia, Manuel, Fernanda, my hippo. Okay. All right, so somebody... Unforgettable course, traveling when you're... Manuel made a nice point. Your memory of now and then. Yes, isn't it nice when you visit a place and then you hear about it or you see in the news, you have your own personal experience to sort of add to that. You have your own perspective because you've been there, you've seen some things, and those unforgettable memories stay with you. Okay, there was a question about prepositions. I want to know the correct use. I always get confused. I do have a playlist on prepositions, so please look. Remember, guys, when you visit a YouTube channel, not just mine, anyone, a lot of us creators group our lessons together in playlists to make it easier for you to find what you need. I have lots of grammar playlists, and there is a whole playlist on prepositions. I also encourage you to watch out for my short videos because I practice just something very specific within a minute or so. And sometimes it could be prepositions, right? So the trick is to learn collocations or to learn those phrasal verbs like look forward to. Right? So check out also my phrasal verb playlists, and that's what I would do. And read. Everyone watch the most recent video because I'm explaining what you need to do to attain higher proficiency and to keep up and maintain that fluency. You need to read. You need to read. You need to listen. Many of you are already doing that, and it's wonderful. Okay? Whoops. Okay, so I think we're winding down, and I think that all the questions have been answered. Let me see. Better late than never. Yes. You could always watch the recording. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend, and thank you so much for being here with me, okay? Happy studies, one and all. Thank you, thank you. Members, look out for the task soon. Patreon people, look out for your pre-lesson task. I'll be posting it later today, okay? Thank you, everyone. Bye. Wonderful participation.